The wind wailed across the desolate dunes of Gilgo Beach, carrying a chill that seeped into the bones of Long Island's forgotten coast. In the dead of a moonless night, a young woman's scream shattered the silence, her voice raw with terror, pleading for salvation through a 911 call that would haunt those who heard it. Shannan Gilbert, a daughter, a sister, a dreamer, vanished into the shadows, her fate a mystery that would unravel a nightmare. As her desperate cry faded, the sands of Ocean Parkway whispered of secrets buried deep, bodies wrapped in burlap, lives stolen, and a predator who walked among the living. Each discovery pulled the veil from a darkness too horrific to fathom, leaving families broken and a community gripped by fear. What horrors lay hidden in the reeds, and who, or what, stalked the vulnerable under the cover of night? Don't miss this chilling true crime saga. Subscribe to my channel now to follow the haunting journey through the Gilgo Beach killings and uncover the truth with me. On a frigid May night in 2010, the desolate dunes of Gilgo Beach, Long Island, stood silent under a moonless sky. Shannan Gilbert, a 24-year-old escort with dreams of a better life, stepped into the gated community of Oak Beach, answering a client's call. She was a daughter, a sister, a woman striving to survive in a world that often overlooked her. At 4:51 a.m., her frantic 911 call pierced the stillness, her voice trembling with terror. "Someone's trying to kill me." For 23 agonizing minutes, she pleaded for help, her words a desperate lifeline as she fled an unseen threat. Then the line went dead. Shannan vanished, leaving behind only questions and a family gripped by anguish. Her disappearance sparked a search that would unravel a nightmare. In December 2010, while combing the bramble along Ocean Parkway, Suffolk County police stumbled upon a chilling discovery. For bodies wrapped in burlap, hidden among the reeds, Melissa Bartholomew, 24, Megan Waterman, 22, Amber Lynn Costello, 27, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25, known as the Gilgo Four, were all sex workers, their lives cut short, their bodies discarded with cold precision. The burlap, the proximity, the shared profession. It pointed to a serial killer. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Richard Dormer voiced the public's fear. A predator was stalking Long Island's vulnerable. Families mourned, their grief mingling with dread as a community grappled with a horrifying truth. Shannan's fate remained unknown, but her cry had unearthed a darkness that refused to stay buried. What other secrets lay hidden in the sands of Gilgo Beach, and would they lead to the killer's identity? The search for Shannan Gilbert continued into 2011, transforming Gilgo Beach into a grim tableau of loss. By April, the investigation uncovered 6 more sets of remains along Ocean Parkway, each discovery deepening the horror. Among them were partial remains of Jessica Taylor, 20, and Valerie Mack, 24, linked to earlier finds in Manorville from 2000 and 2003, suggesting a killer with a long reach. Most haunting was the discovery of a toddler, later identified as Tatiana Marie Dykes, the daughter of Tanya Denise Jackson, known as Peaches, whose remains were found in 1997. 10 victims in total, most of them sex workers, their lives erased, their stories reduced to bones scattered across Long Island's coastline. The victims' families stood vigil, clutching photos and memories, demanding justice in a case that seemed to defy it. The investigation faltered, hampered by internal turmoil. Suffolk County Police Chief James Burke, later convicted of unrelated corruption charges, was accused of obstructing progress, casting a shadow over the department. Years slipped by, 2011 to 2020, marked by silence and frustration. Forensic efforts identified victims like Karen Vergata in 2023, her remains tied to a 1996 discovery, but the killer remained a phantom, the public whisper of a predator who knew the landscape, who preyed on the marginalized, who watched from the shadows. As hope waned, The families held on, their pain a quiet fire, waiting for a breakthrough that seemed impossibly distant. Could a killer evade justice for over a decade? Or was the key to the mystery closer than anyone dared to believe? In January 2022, a new chapter began. Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond Tierney assembled a task force determined to pierce the veil of the Gilgo Beach killings. Armed with advanced forensic tools, DNA analysis, cell phone data, and digital breadcrumbs, the team revived a case that had grown cold. On July 13, 2023, a seismic shift rocked Long Island. Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, was arrested. A husband, a father, a man whose suburban life masked a chilling double existence. Heuermann was charged with the murders of Melissa Barthélemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. The evidence was damning. Cell phone pings placed with the victims at critical moments. A hair found on a victim's body matched his DNA through whole genome sequencing. A planning document on his computer outlined his methods with horrifying precision. Most unsettling, Heuermann had searched online over 200 times for updates on the case, typing queries like, "Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught?" The arrogance stunned investigators. The audacity chilled the public. Families of the victims gathered outside the courthouse, their tears a mix of relief and renewed grief. Heuermann pleaded not guilty, his stoic demeanor a stark contrast to the anguish in the room. As he sat in custody, the task force dug deeper, sensing the case was far from closed. The man who blended into Long Island's suburban sprawl had been unmasked. But how deep did his darkness run? Was Heuermann responsible for all the deaths? Or were there more killers lurking in Long Island shadows? By July 2025, the Suffolk County Courthouse was a battleground of truth and deception. Heuermann's defense team launched a fierce assault on the DNA evidence, targeting the methods of the Street of Forensics, the California lab that linked hairs found on the victims to Heuermann and his family. A defense witness, Nathaniel Adams, testified that the lab software, IBDGEM, contained errors threatening to undermine the case's foundation. District Attorney Tierney countered with unwavering confidence, defending the science that tied Heuermann to 6 of the 7 murders. A 7th charge, for Valerie Mack's murder, her remains found near Gilgo Beach in 2011 and Manorville in 2000, was added, further tightening the noose. But the trial faced delays, with the defense pushing for 5 separate trials, a move that could fragment the case and prolong the family's agony. Outside the courtroom, the case gripped the public's imagination. Attempts to sell Heuermann's belongings, like a 1972 Jeep, on eBay were halted under platform violence and violent criminals policy, yet the allure of murderabilia reflected a morbid fascination. Karen Vergata, identified in 2023, and Shannan Gilbert, whose disappearance sparked the investigation, remain unlinked to Heuermann, their stories unresolved. As suppression hearings continued on July 17, 2025, the families waited, their hearts heavy with grief and hope. The evidence was strong, but the path to justice was fraught with obstacles. The sands of Gilgo Beach still held secrets, and the truth seemed just out of reach. Would the courtroom deliver justice to the victims? Or would the shadows of Gilgo Beach keep their secrets forever?